So today we have Anna Margolina as our guest for my channel, Stop Stuttering with Olga. And today we're going to talk about stuttering, about self-expression, about freedom, and about those inner blocks that help us be who we truly are. Okay, Anna, would you like to maybe give us a little bit a little bit of introduction, saying a few words about your work, what you do?
Hello, everybody. I'm Anna, and I live now in America. And well, I really don't know what to say about myself. I need questions.
Okay.
Because, see, there is so much that we can say about ourselves, right?
Oh, yes. Okay, well, let me ask you a question. You wrote a book about stuttering, about your story of recovery, about your story, how you've experienced it, letting go of the dragon, 7 keys.
Letting go of the dragon, yes.
Would you like to share with us how did it all begin for you? When did you start stuttering? And what did you do in order to stop stuttering and become as expressive as you are today?
Well, first, I have to admit, from time to time, I still stutter. But I do no longer think about it as stuttering. It's very weird, but in the past, it was such a significant part of me. It was all of me. And because I started stuttering very early, at 4 approximately, and I have no idea how. Nobody knows. It just started. And I don't know if it started small, but my memories of times when it became really severe. So if you imagine blocks which just stop you, so your face becomes blue from effort because you cannot breathe. And this word that you know what you want to say, but you are stuck. And I remember this feeling, this pain in my ribs, pain in my head, my eyes looking up. I could not look at people. And this struggle. As a child, I used to squeeze my feet, stomp my feet, scrunch my face. So it was such a tremendous work, struggle. And I always knew, oh, I'm going to say this word, and I will not be able to say it, especially my name, of course.
Yeah, like for most of us.
My name was impossible to say. So, and because I lived in the Soviet Union and medical care was free, my parents started taking me from one doctor to another, and they had clinics in which I would go to school, I would live there, and it was like around the clock, all kinds of exercises, reading out loud, using my hands. So it was like, tell a story. I am a cat and I want some milk. So they tried to teach us how to coordinate voice and the body. They had the correct idea, but there was one little piece missing. It was, you cannot do it consciously. We try to do it consciously, and it's just all falls apart. We also used breathing. Take a deep breath and my name is when I came to America at the age of 33, that started giving me a lot of issues because I would say, my name is Hannah, and everybody would say, hi, Hannah. And I was like, no, it's not Hannah, it's Hannah. And people like, okay.
Yes,
So it was very extremely embarrassing. And since I had to spend some time in a boarding school, and there was lots of bullies, and I learned to be very afraid, of speaking, because I knew that if I tried to tell a story, it's not going to go well.
Okay, Anna, can I just ask you a question here? You have mentioned that those speech therapies that you went through, that they taught you to speak consciously. Do you mean they try to imply for you to use control, to control your speaking, to plan your speaking in any way? Is this what you mean?
Yes.
So control?
Because the concept was that I had stuttering, that it was something that I had, and that I could not do anything about it. Something was wrong. And that I had to learn how to speak differently. I had to learn how to control my speech. And it was impossible. So when I try to just speak spontaneously, stop. Remember first, think what you need to say. Then take a deep breath. So they would constantly imprint into me that you cannot speak spontaneously. You have to always think what you need to say.
Yeah. And I guess this is the major problem of most speech therapies, because instead of teaching us to be spontaneous and to have fun, they kind of divert our attention to the process of speech. And the more we think about our speech, the more we struggle. Basically, that's how it works, isn't it?
Because the concept is wrong. The concept is that we have stuttering instead of we are doing it.
That's it.
That they thought it's a thing that we have, that now we know, because there is lots of people who learn to speak more spontaneously, with more freedom, with more confidence, and they discover it, that it's the opposite. They have to learn to let go of control, and then they can speak.
Absolutely. Well, would you like to share with us, when did your journey towards freedom has commenced? When did you say to yourself, okay, that's enough, I want to do something about it, I want to be able to express myself freely and spontaneously?
No, it's very, very interesting that a lot of people, they start big changes when some big changes happen for them. So I moved to America at the age of 33. And all of a sudden, first, I have to speak English. My accent was so strong, nobody could understand me. And with stuttering, so if you imagine, people already cannot understand me, and I also stutter. so this, when I spoke in Russian, I still had friends, I still had people who would willing to listen to me. So I learned to adapt, I learned to adjust, and we learn to tolerate, even though it's not comfortable, but okay, it is what it is. But when I was placed into a situation in which I was cut off, people could not even pick up the phone, could not call my children's school and say, hi, they're sick today.
My goodness.
So all those things that people take for granted, like to be able to pick up the phone, to be able to ask a question in a store instead of wandering the aisles and where is it? Huge store, and you're like, I have no idea, but I am going to walk those aisles for hours because I'm not going to ask anybody. So all those inconveniences, they keep piling up, but I still was holding on for 8 years. I will tolerate, and then my son was born. And I named him Michael. Why? Because M was easy to say. I always could say M. So it's like, Michael is easy to say. And guess what? In a month, I started blocking on M just as badly as I did on my name. So this was something that I thought, wait a minute, I was able to say it. And all of a sudden, if you imagine you walk and there is a cute baby and you walk and the person, oh, look at this cute baby. What's his name? And you're like, oh, well, what's going on?
Did you forget?
Did you steal this baby? You don't know your child's name.
I mean,
This is weird. So I had to do something, and I decided to just find a therapist, a normal speech therapist, and she was very nice. She was doing her absolute best, but she was using the same techniques, and I was like, oh my god. 20 years after I was doing all this and nothing changed. Yes, I thought something had to change, but I had the same reading out loud, breathing this way, think what she even had a sign, breathe. And she would hold, breathe. And I cannot. And then one day she just said, you know what? I just don't know what to do with you. But I heard one thing that I know is weird, but would you try to stutter on purpose? What? What do you mean on purpose? No, absolutely no way. And then one day I was in such severe block. Like I thought I would die because I could not breathe. I tried to say something. And I thought, what if I try to intensify this block? Like, and all of a sudden I said the word and the next word and the next word with such ease. I never experienced it.
What do you think happened in that moment?
You know, there is a story about a cow. There was a big storm and the owner of a cow wanted to put you back into a barn. But the cow was very afraid and was digging its hoof. And the farmer kept pushing and pushing. And then the farmer's boy came and pulled the tail. And the cow bolted and ran into a barn. I did something different. It's something different that was and I broke the pattern. I was not cured, but I became curious. And this is how I found the book. I started looking for stuttering on purpose. What is it? And I found an article, and it was an article by John Harrison. And he had this metaphor. He said, imagine that a person has a horse, and I start blocking just thinking about it. So I said, imagine he loves horse, but the horse broke its leg, and now he has to shoot the horse.
Yeah.
And he holds the gun, and he knows he needs to do it. He loves the horse. So there's this block. And I thought, oh, opposite forces. There's something that is pushing against. I want to speak, but something is holding me back. And this is how I discovered the concept, holding back.
Yeah.
When we hold back our emotions, just like a little bit, I started blocking because of the emotion of imagining shooting a horse. I love animals. It's the worst. Like the shoot your horse is a big emotion for me. So the moment I start holding my emotions back, I'm back to stuttering.
That's it. Yeah.
And actually, this was the key.
Yeah, this is very interesting because I have read this article by John Harrison a couple of weeks ago, and I found my own personal example. When I was around the age of 9, we would, me and a group of friends would be chasing each other in those, flats where I lived back in Estonia. And I remember how I was running up the stairs, and I didn't want to be caught by this girl. I didn't want to be caught by this girl, and I knew that, well, there was probably like a group of children chasing me. And I remember as I was running up the stairs, I would sometimes absolutely freeze because I was kind of so afraid that I would just freeze. I wanted to run, but at the same time, I would just freeze in the middle, unable to move. So it was kind of the same situation. You want to run, but you're so afraid. You want to run, and it's just, you freeze. It's the same thing happens with speaking.
Yes, and then I started researching it, and I discovered, oh, I never knew about it, and I'm a scientist, so I should know, but somehow they did not teach us. We know that in stress, we have this fight or flight. For some reason, they never thought about the third reaction, freeze.
Freeze, that's what.
Freeze is another response, and it's very primal. When we freeze, no matter what we do, we cannot move. It's not, and this is why it feels like we are not in control, because it's primal. It goes from the stem of brain, freeze. And I thought, oh, this is what I experienced.
That was freezing. I mean, you can freeze in so many activities. Like, for instance, me running away from my friends, or that guy who tried to shoot his horse and couldn't. Or speaking. I mean, freezing can apply to so many things, not just speaking.
It's very interesting that when I joined Toastmasters, I witnessed fluent speakers who never stuttered, but they would freeze.
Yeah.
Just- So this is very common reaction. So I started researching more, and I found the book, Redefining Stuttering.
That's
And
it.
it's a big book. It's a very big book, but I read all of it. I contacted John, and I just fell in love with his wisdom, because he said stuttering is not a thing, it's a system. There are many components which together create it. There is no such thing as stuttering, but together many components create it. It's not a thing.
Absolutely. This is, stuttering is something we do without even realizing how we do it and when it starts. But it's something we do. That's why we block. That's
But
why
you see, now I'm glad that I experienced it. And I'm glad it was bad enough for me to take actions. If it was a mild one, maybe I would still live the same way. Maybe I can kind of adapt and adjust. But because it was so like I hit the wall, I could not go on. I had to do something. Because of this, I had to. This response, freeze and holding back, as I started investigating it, and I started digging back, why I freeze, why I hold back my emotions, that turns out to be a spiritual journey.
Absolutely.
And it transformed me completely.
Absolutely. Yeah. And why do you think, like, we both understand, and John Harrison also, that stuttering can be solved so easily? This is a very simple problem to resolve. Why do people still find it so hard to understand the concept that stuttering is holding back, and it is something that we unconsciously do over and over again? Why is it so difficult to communicate to people?
Because we are designed to believe our ideas. If you imagine being a child and you know nothing, and you have to learn, oh, this is a lamp, oh, the sky, and you learn rules. You learn rules, how to behave. And depending on how those rules were installed, sometimes there's lots of punishment, sometimes there's manipulation through love, so all kinds of tools that parent teachers use to install those rules. And what happens if you break rules? You get punished, right? You feel shame. So it's very rare people who dare to question their beliefs, who dare to say, hey, wait a minute, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there is a different way. So this defensiveness, like if what I believe is not true, then I'm not intelligent enough, I'm not smart enough. So all of if you imagine the armor that people carry to defend who they are.
That's it. Yeah.
So stuttering becomes identity, kind of like a pride.
Yeah,
I met
badge of honor.
many people who stutter, who say it's who I am. And this makes them different, special, And it's okay. It's absolutely okay. Not everybody needs to change.
Yeah.
If people are okay with it, I was not okay. I could not accept it. I could not adapt. I was stuck. But
Same.
if people are okay, that's not an issue. And the reason practices such as hypnosis so important to use because they work with our unconscious.
Mm-hmm.
Our unconscious is very powerful. And whatever programming we have, it will run our life.
Mm-hmm.
So if you imagine you are a computer and you have programs, do you have a choice? No, you don't have a choice. You run programs, but you also a programmer. A lot of people don't know this. They don't know that they can also reprogram it. So when we put people into a trance, when we give them tools, we empower them to become programmers.
That's it.
Not just a computer who has no choice.
Yeah, it's like a computer, and if you have any problem and if you think that you are the computer, if you are the hard drive of the computer, you just kind of observe these different programs and they actually seem so real to you. I'm the computer. Look, this is me, you know, the computer, and I have all these programs. Wow, that's who I am. There's nothing I can do about it. But actually, if you pull yourself out and if you put yourself in the seat of the programmer, it's kind of, you have this, you know, perspective as if you're looking at the computer that you are, and then you can do the, you know, the changes. You can tweak it. And
yes, yes,
you can delete some programs, you can put new ones in. So there is choice. Choice is magic. You have choice.
So this is why it's so difficult to explain to people that it can be changed, because they think as they have no control. They think as a program, but they don't think that they are the programmer too. Yeah,
absolutely. And what I find also from my experience when I was going through, you know, the ceremonies in Peru, I have learned that I was afraid to lose those programs, because I was thinking to myself, okay, what if I lose those programs? Then you know, there will be nothing left. How is this? There will be nothing left. I don't know who I am anymore. If this is gone, then who am I? And it was so scary. It was really terrifying. But when I did lose them, I actually thought, okay, so there's a nice empty space here now, which I can fill with some wonderful things, wonderful new and shiny things that will really help me in my life. So not as scary as it seemed to my programmed mind.
But it is scary. Many times I went through this existential crisis of complete collapse of my belief system. And I was sitting in my chair and crying and think, I don't know who I am anymore. I am confused. I thought I know things, and now who I am. And then, let's build something new now.
Let's build something new. That's
better.
Absolutely. There is so many things.
Scary. This is why scary. So few people actually do this, and I don't blame them. But when I just started, when I liberated my speech from this much stuttering to this much stuttering, I thought, okay, I need to tell everybody. I need to just share with everybody, because they don't know, poor people, they don't know. And I was very surprised at negativity, animosity, rejection, all this criticism. You probably never started it. Well, I have witnesses. I know. Well, you, so people would just defend. And like, why it's so? But then I started widening my range. I started learning hypnosis and NLP and the Taoism and many other things. And I started working with clients. And I discovered that it's not only stuttering. It's not
Yeah.
only stuttering, it's with every problem which people had for a long time. People who cannot lose weight, they learn to justify it.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
They learn, they carry those pounds, and they have a system in the mind which tells them you cannot lose this weight because of this and this and this. It's very uncomfortable. But the program defends itself. It says, no, I'm not changing.
Yeah,
But
because my bones are too thick. My bones are too thick.
When you become a programmer,
Yeah,
it's also scary
it
because you can no longer blame anybody. You cannot say.
Absolutely, there's no one to blame anymore, and it's like it feels to me as if I'm walking, like I am building my own road now to a completely different future. Like there is, there's just a field. There are, there's nothing there, and I, with my own hands, I have to take those building blocks, and I have to build my own path to wherever I wanted to go, really. And like nobody gives me the answers as to where you need to go, because there are no programs anymore. So this is entirely up to me now. Where do I want to go? And this can be really scary because we have used to have those ready answers. Okay, just do this, do this, do this, do this, and you will get the result you want. But actually now there's no guarantee. You are the designer and the creator and the programmer of your own life. And this, it feels scary. It does.
I think now a lot of people will start changing because we went through big changes, and all of a sudden for many people, they had to change. They had to start doing different things. And the fear of death, a lot of people started thinking about it because typically people, oh, it's long way away, and we don't think about it. But during COVID, people started thinking about it. And they started thinking, okay, do I want to live a life like this and never do all those things that I wanted to do? Or do I start doing scary things, unusual things, and will start exploring? Because you see, hypnosis is not something unusual. It's a quality of our mind. We go through this state all this time, and we hypnotize ourselves all the time, and we let other people do it to us all the time. So it's not something weird and strange. But when we start really looking at it as a tool, hey, there is this interesting state when our brain activity goes from this busy brain to slower and larger waves. When our brain slows down and starts remembering how to change, and where we can step out of this program and look at it. So this is what it is. This is the state of personal power.
Absolutely. Cannot agree more.
And it's not only about speech, but everything. Because
Anything, yeah.
you see this thing of holding back my emotions. I used to never tell people if something would upset me, I would hold it on the inside. And then I would put another thing on top of it. And then another thing on top of it. And I would still be holding, and I would become passive aggressive, like it's fine, no, I'm okay,
Mm.
Oh my God, it was so disgusting. Looking back at this, I said, what a way to live. What a way to live. Talking to people you love and holding something ugly on the inside until it's...
That's it, yeah.
It's just, it requires so much energy. It damages relationships. It damages the body. And it seeps into every area. So it's not only stuttering,
Absolutely.
it's all areas of life.
Okay, Anna, I cannot not ask you this question today about this new idea that is coming through now, where some people try to instill the idea that stuttering might be related to schizophrenia. What do you think about that?
I did not know about it.
Yeah, well, there is some kind of even a couple of people, I think, wrote books on it, and they aggressively defend their position. No, stuttering relates to schizophrenia. This is a serious mental disorder, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh my God, this is another program that they try to instill. Dangerous, watch out.
Yes, it's interesting. No, I stopped reading anything about stuttering. I stopped, even if I see a post about, oh, I have new idea, I just stop.
Yeah.
Because here is the thing. I used to focus so much on it. I used to look for explanation, but the more we find justification, the more we have this problem.
That's it, absolutely.
But what I eventually started doing, I started thinking, hey, what if I learn to have freedom, just inner freedom to be me? And what if I learn to express myself with this authentic feeling from my heart, from my core? And totally, if I stutter, it's okay. If I don't stutter, it's also okay. But focus on my freedom.
That's it.
And not letting people to control my feelings.
Yeah.
But be the programmer, be the creator. Maybe it's a dangerous mental disease. I don't know. Maybe we all have to look up. Maybe people who stutter, they are dangerous because when they learn to stop stuttering, they become dangerous.
Yeah, because they
become dangerously free.
They become dangerously free, Anna. That's a good point. Dangerously free, and it looks like very few people are interested in setting people dangerously free, including John Harrison and myself and yourself. So there's just a small group of us at the moment, but it looks like we are growing. You know, the group is growing now.
Yes,
which is very promising to see.
You see, from time to time, I typically do not work with clients who stutter. I said no, because
well done.
because I know what they're going to say and it's not interesting to me. But I accept only those who say, you know, I want to be free. I don't care if I keep stuttering or not, but I want to learn how to be free. I say, okay, let's go.
That's it. Yeah, that's exactly my
Yeah.
point as well.
But you see how dangerous it is? Because if you are not free, if you are just a set of programs, then you are easy to control.
Mm-hmm.
You are easy to motivate, to hate people maybe, or even be violent. Because if they push the right buttons, you're going to do what they control you to do. If they push fear, you will feel fear. If they
Yeah.
push anger, you will feel anger. So very few people are able to detach from the grid and say, why all of a sudden I'm so angry? Let's look at it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yes.
But some people also suggest for us to find beauty in stuttering, to fall in love with it.
You can, yes. I mean, it, whatever. it absolutely, whatever work. To me, it was just impossible to speak.
Yeah.
If I could find beauty in it, yes, but I just wanted to speak. It was very, very simple issue. I
Yeah,
wanted to be
absolutely.
able to share my knowledge, to
Absolutely.
share my thought, to tell a story, to tell
Yeah.
a joke, for God's sake.
Absolutely. Well, for me personally, if we have any problem, you just want it gone, don't you? You don't want to be finding beauty in it or accepting it. You just want your problem to be gone, to be out of your life. That's full stop. There's nothing else. And I remember when, yeah, when my
Okay,
journey,
go ahead.
yeah, when my journey started 12 years ago, I actually had exactly the same purpose. I just wanted to be able to communicate and share my knowledge and to really become expressive. And I remember when I attended this speech therapy course, they asked me the question, why do you need fluent speech? I said, for some reason, I just blurted it out. I said, I want to become a public speaker. And at the time, I couldn't even say my own name, but it just kind of, popped out. Public speaker, like, what's this all about? You can't even say your own name. So I had big dreams from the very beginning, I guess.
You see,
So,
this is very interesting that we have to have a dream. So when people, from time to time, I get clients who come to me and say, can you help me to stop stuttering?
mhm.
And I always ask them, and then what?
Yeah,
And
then
often
what?
they don't have anything else. I just want to stop stuttering. Okay, just imagine you stop stuttering.
Mhm.
They never thought about it. They don't, if you see, this is the thing. If you don't have anything else and you only feel good if you stop stuttering,
Mhm.
it's just like with losing weight. If
Yeah.
you feel good with losing a few pounds, guess what? You're going
Mhm.
to lose a few pounds, then gain them back, then lose
Yeah.
them again, because your unconscious is very kind. It wants you to feel good, and you are feeling good when you're losing a few pounds. So you keep losing those pounds.
Mhm.
That's it. But you have to gain them back, right? Because
Yeah.
if you become your slim self, how you're going to feel good now? You cannot
That's
lose
it.
anymore,
Yeah,
right?
good
And the
question.
same as with stuttering. If you only have this goal that you will feel good, if you stop stuttering, you have to stop stuttering and then start stuttering and stop stuttering and start stuttering.
That's
So
it.
then you keep
It's a
feeling good.
circle.
You have to have something after this.
Bigger goal.
Happy ever after.
That's
Big goal. What are you going to do with this freedom? I had a dream. I wanted to be a speaker too.
You see, we are very similar.
I imagine myself standing on stage and I imagine the big audience laughing at my speech. And when I accomplished it, I thought, already? I already accomplished this dream. I needed to create a bigger dream.
Yeah, absolutely. It's absolutely the same. And I always say to my clients as well, like, you need to have a bigger goal, because if your goal is just to stop stuttering, it will not keep you motivated when things get tough. Because you might experience some rolling back and rolling forward and rolling back. So if your goal is not big enough, you will not stay motivated and you will drop out, which few people do actually. They just drop out. They say it's not for me, or it doesn't work, or they just get scared when things really improve, which I've also had one client who just he started to speak so beautifully and so fluently, and I think that he got scared of it.
It
He didn't know
is
what to do with
scary.
it.
You see, I went through this many times. I would speak absolutely fluently, and then it felt like I was moving too fast.
That's
I was
it.
feeling
Yeah,
like
they just
I'm
pull
not in
back.
control. Because you see, you get so used to speaking, knowing what you're going to say. When you speak fluently, and this is, okay, the moment of truth. If you stutter, fluent speakers, they absolutely have no idea what words is going to fall out of their mouths. They really don't know. I have no idea what I will say next. I have this goal, the concept, but words are just coming out. And even if in English is my non-native language. So this was scary. It was very scary when I all of a sudden did not know what I was going to say. And I thought, what if I say something rude? What if I say something stupid? What if I say something that I should not say? How can I control it? It was like, whoa. So I would start hold myself back and stutter again. And it's only because I had a bigger dream. I want to be free. I want to be this person who can just open my mouth and share from my heart and not thinking about anything. And at the same time, listen to another person and give them respect. So have this flow of energy and true connection. And this is what I craved. Like I crave this connection. And now I have it.
That's it. Absolutely. Well,
good.
It's very similar journey to mine. And I have to say that I guess we both succeeded at what we wanted initially. So that's how it goes. People who are going to watch this interview, this is how it goes. So
well, I must say, from time to time I block, not as badly, and now it has not created any after taste. Like I block as, oh, interesting, I just did it, and it's always the same.
Yeah, you just move on.
I hold something. I have some feeling which I afraid to allow to feel this feeling. You see, this is not only expressing, but also allowing myself to feel. And I think that when I learn to truly feel, this is my journey now, to really learn to feel all nuances of feelings, to be fully in the body.
That's it, to be fully
That's my
in the
goal.
body. Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, I have also blocked so many feelings this past, I don't know, 25 years probably. Everything was so blocked up. I didn't even realize, there were some feelings really heavy that I had. I would never think I actually had them. I thought, no, I'm fine. I'm not an angry person. I'm fine. But I was actually so angry before at everybody. I was just so angry, and I, tried to break this wall with my head, and it didn't work. Now, when I let go and there's no anger anymore, there's just acceptance. And I really feel at peace with myself. And I believe that my clients feel it too now. Being at peace is the best thing that can happen.
This is it, because when you reach this state, when you're at peace, you're no longer angry, no longer think that it's people who make you nervous or afraid, or it's your genes, or it's your brain, or it's this and this and this, and you become a programmer.
That's it.
And it doesn't matter how long it will take. You are going to get there. You're going to get there because you are no longer doing things which are creating more problems. You are solving a problem.
Yeah, I mean, everything seems so simple to me now, and I am quite puzzled as to why people resist this idea that actually speaking problem can be fixed in a matter of, I guess, a year or even less. Depends on how severe and how much resistance there is. But it can be fixed. I mean, look at me. 12 years ago, I couldn't even say my own name. It was a struggle. I would block on the first O sound. Oh. That would be it. End of story. Now I do presentations and live streams, and I take interviews from people. I mean, that's a huge progress from where I was 12 years ago and now. I mean, it's wow, unbelievable.
One thing is interesting. Every person who stutters, with whom I talk, so I'm not talking about everybody, but so far, they all first looked like nicest people ever. They were very nice. But then after exploring a little bit, they would reveal that they have anger. And they would disown it. It's not me.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a nice person, but there's anger. So you see this response that we often get when people become angry because we tell them that it's possible to gain freedom.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not even saying fluency, but freedom of speaking, no fear, fluidity of speech. They become angry. So there seems to be something about anger that is linked, that is very common.
Yeah.
Go to any stuttering group and you will see very angry discussions.
Very angry discussion, yeah.
So one emotion that is worthy of exploring, because when you stop doing it, there is peace, there is no resistance, you become happier, your body becomes softer, your heart opens, and it's just so much easier to live.
Oh my goodness, yeah, absolutely.
But when you have this emotion, it feels very, very real.
Oh,
so
yeah.
This, to me, not fear. I used to think it's fear, but now I think anger.
Yeah,
is
it's
much more important.
anger, rage, all these kind of emotions.
Rage.
Yeah, when you let them go, it's like, suddenly, at first you think like, okay, so what do I do now? I'm not angry anymore. So what do I fill my time with now? What do I do next? Like, I was so angry. It was maybe it served the purpose. And kind of now, what do? I just said to myself, you know what? You just do what you love, be yourself, um, and speak from your heart. This is what I do now. Speak from
Mhm.
your heart. Just imagine there is light coming out from your chest. If people do you want to join, the revolution in the scattering world, I say, okay, come on in, we'll help you. If they resist, if they get angry, pissed off, I say, okay, well, maybe you need to suffer a little bit more before you become ready to step on this new path, towards not just the freedom of speech but freedom of life, because my program is not about speech as much as it is about life, happy, peaceful, and harmonious life. That's what I always say. People,
Happy,
they don't get it, but
peaceful,
that's what it is.
harmonious life. Yes, this is, to me, it's also acceptance of
Mhm.
ourselves, because I used to be so critical, so angry at myself. And how I look at all those little children that live inside of me, all those little ages of me, and I was
Mhm.
so angry at them, and they suffered so much, and now I love them all. And I was like, hey, come on, little children, let me show you how much I love you and appreciate you. And love is the antidote for fear and anger.
Absolutely, yeah. There's
The more
just
love you feel, the more you just don't want to be angry anymore.
no anger takes so much energy, so many resources. It's absolutely draining emotion. Too much energy was wasted. Now I'm just
Because it
drifting.
creates tension. It creates
Yeah.
tension. So the thing is, people hold anger back, but they also want to say something and they hold it back, and it's a perfect block.
Mm.
But when you are relaxed and it's just so much more pleasant
That's it.
to
Yeah,
to
life is really simple.
you see.
When I
And
look
this
at it
is
now,
why, again, hypnosis, I love it. I talk
yeah.
about hypnosis all the time, not only in relation to stuttering, but when we are in a trance. I had clients who would say, I never felt so peaceful. I never felt so blessed. It's such a blissful, and often they do not want to come back. So just leave me there. I will just float on clouds. And so people have to have the reference. Because if you never felt peace, if you never felt totally relaxed, then how would you know how it feels?
Mm.
You cannot want what you never experienced.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, it's just everything's so different now, and I don't
So
really know
we are
what you
giving
add.
people the reference point. This is how you can feel.
Mm.
This is how your body can feel. Do you want more of it? Yes. Then let's go.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, Anna, thank you very much for your story, for sharing with us tonight, this morning for you. I will be now in 15 minutes. I'll be talking to John Harrison
Yes.
Just to
Say
continue our
hi
conversation.
and thank you to John.